Alright, good morning class. We're going to look at the AutoCAD environment. And basically what this is just the overall look of AutoCAD. Um, you know what to look for, what your screen means, and just some of the basic exercises. So we'll look at, in this chapter you'll cover looking at the workspace, using the mouse, what your start page looks like, how to use dynamic input, creating an Autodesk 360 account, and then we won't worry much about creating a profile or exporting a profile, just because this is probably a new program for everybody. So the workspace is going to be the main screen when you open up your AutoCAD program. The workspace allows you to customize the appearance of your work environment, so the workspace tool. By default, AutoCAD comes with 3 defined workspaces, so 3D modeling, drafting and annotation, and 3D basics. And all we'll be using in this class will be drafting and annotation. That's the only one we'll be using. The mouse, so here are some of the mouse commands. You can see this picture is also on page 1-8 of your book. So you'll want to look over this just to see how to use the mouse, especially when you're learning how to draw lines, you want to do circles, and things like that. So the mouse allows you to draw lines, highlight, or lasso objects. We'll learn more about that when we go into selecting objects, and then click on commands. So just like it is for a Word document or PowerPoint, if you want to click on a particular command, such as the line command, circle command, rectangle command, or whatever it may be, you click on it just like you would with those programs. In your AutoCAD window, so when you open these up, your title bar will be on top. Your pull down menu will be beneath the title bar. It'll look like a small little arrow with a line above it. The toolbars will be docked at sides or floating in the drawing window, and you can move those, and we'll get more into the toolbars as we go along. Tool palettes, they will be floating, so once we start using actual tool palettes, especially when we get into blocks and things like that, we'll see where these are. Your drawing window, which is the main area, is going to be in the middle area. Your command prompt is at the bottom. So this will tell you if you're actually in a command. You can also type in a command. So if you wanted to do line, you could type it in at the bottom of your AutoCAD screen. The status bar is beneath the command prompt, and then your dynamic input will be at the end of the cursor if you have that enabled. So there's the status bar. If you see the red outline section with the arrow pointing to it, the status bar displays the cursor location, your drawing tools, and tools that affect your drawing environment. The status bar provides quick access to some of the most commonly used drawing tools. You can toggle settings such as grid, so that'll turn your grid on and off, snap, which would snap to particular points on your grid, polar tracking, and object snap. You can also access additional settings for some of these tools by clicking on their drop-down arrows. So the little arrow that's actually beside those commands, if you click on that, you can access some additional commands. Some keyboard options. So if you look on page 1-25, you'll see those lists. So escape, enter, space bar, what the arrows do, and then what the control button would do. Your dynamic input, so this provides a command interface near the cursor in the drawing area. So if you're going to do a particular angle or a distance, or if you want to go to a particular grid point, we'll learn about all these when we talk about absolute distancing versus polar distancing versus relative distancing. We'll talk about all 3 of those. Dynamic tooltips provide an alternative way to enter commands. When dynamic input is turned on, a tooltip displays dynamically updating the information near the cursor. So everywhere you move your cursor, there's going to be a dynamic display that shows up. When the command is in progress, you can specify options and value in the tooltip text box. The actions required to complete a command or to use grips are similar to those for the command prompt. If the autocomplete and autocorrect features are turned on, the program automatically completes the command and offers correct spelling suggestions just as it does on the command line. The difference is that your attention can stay near the cursor. This is one of those commands that will come down to personal preference. You may not, some of you may not like to have this on, some of you may prefer it. So we'll learn how to use it, and then, it's not going to be something that you have to use or you don't have to use. It's something that will come down to personal preference. And that's the end of my lecture on this. I'm going to have a supplementary video for you to check out on the AutoCAD environment. Have a great day.